Well, hello, everyone. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Thank you for tuning in to Let's Talk About It, Steph. We got a lot to talk about. I hope you guys having a great week. I'm having an awesome week. I'm actually on vacation, so I am having a wonderful time hanging out with the family this week. And next week, you know what? It's back to working hard. But we got a lot to discuss. We're going to talk about the 30 missing kids in Ohio. And we're also going to briefly talk about the incident that happened near the Jackson, Mississippi area where three black males were attacked by the police out there. And we're going to talk about something else, but today we're going to talk about affirmative action, what the Supreme Court decided to change. So, y'all tune in. We're going to get started. And I hope you got your water, your drinks, and everything. And we're going to chat about what's going on in the world today. So, hang tight. Well, hello, and welcome back to Let's Talk About It, Steph. I'm your girl, Steph, and I have a special guest coming in tonight, Camilla. Hello, Camilla. How are you doing? Okay, I think we got, hold on.
Oh,
Camille.
yeah, I'm good. Thank you for asking.
Great, great. You enjoying your time off?
Yes, I am. I've been resting, doing exactly what they told me to do, recuperating. It's been nice.
That is awesome. That is awesome. What you have planned for this big old 4th of July weekend?
Actually, I'll be going back to the base, so they're probably gonna be doing something special up there. So what's what
Oh,
they got planned? Yeah.
well, that's cool. That is cool. Well, who knows? I'm always working. I'm always into something. So you just never know what's going to wind up happening in this camp. But I'm definitely going to see some fireworks somewhere.
Yep.
All right. Well, today's topic, we got a couple of topics. It's a little hot topic, so I don't know if you're ready for it, but we're going to slide through like we big girls. We're going to run it. So, we
You got it, man.
all right. So the big topic is I'm going to update folks on what's going on out there in Ohio. Um, we talked about last week about the 30 kids that were missing in May from May 1st to May 16th. 30 kids wound up missing in a certain county out there in Ohio. Well, the sheriff out there was saying that this is the first time in over 30 years that anything like this has happened, but we are at a nation where we're having issues like that everywhere. So we're having missing kids, and the question is, where are these kids at? So Ohio came up with a plan. The marshal came up with a plan about "We Will Find You" plan. So they are really trying to find these kids. And if anybody have any tips of if you know about kids out there in Ohio, please call 216-443-6085 to give tips out there. And if you know about something, please say something. If you see something, say something. We got to get these kids back home to the parents. And with a lot of the minority kids, they're coming up missing, and a lot of times we don't hear about it until it's too late, or you find it on a different social media like 3 weeks later. So y'all report this, and if anybody know the parents and stuff, have them call in, chat in on Let's Talk About It stuff, and we'll get them on so they can show who their kids are, so we can try to help as a community find these kids.
You know that, but like kids been going up missing since forever. This is just the first time that they actually trying to bring something up about it.
True.
So I believe that it could be anywhere from human trafficking. Actually, didn't somebody say that maybe they're running away?
Yeah, they were saying that some of the kids may have ran away from home. I'm gonna tell you like this. It's kind of strange, but I don't know too many minority children that would disappear from their parents that long. Some of them may have been found by now, but it's a lot of missing kids out there, and that's just I don't know. I honestly I feel like they have been humanly trafficked.
Yep, I think so too. And it's not just in Ohio either. It's everywhere. Like even here in Texas, just in the month of June alone, I've gotten like I think about seven or eight about around that number of Amber Alerts, and that's crazy to me.
Yeah, I have too, and a lot of them are coming from the San Antonio area. But I definitely want to highlight these missing kids because even over in California, I was doing while I was researching this. Heck, California have over 2,000 missing kids. Now, yes, California is a huge state and stuff, and you got a lot of homeless people out there, but that's a lot of kids that's coming up missing just in one state. I can't even imagine how many kids are missing in the United States. That's unheard of, and nobody's really talking about it. It's like we're so busy watching the submarine. I'm not even gonna go into that today, but we're being distracted. But the things that we need to know about, they're not telling us about it because who knows? Maybe Kim might have came through here in Texas, and if we seen her face or knew that she was missing, we'll be able to make that call and say, "Hey, I seen this young girl over here." You know,
Yeah. Yes, definitely. They definitely don't give us information to run with. It's all about having everybody focused on one issue that is already has came to a conclusion, because by the time we heard about it, like the submarine, those people were already dead,
yeah.
and they were looking for these people. But why can't we use these resources, these billions of dollars, to locate these kids? I mean, like, everyone always says that the kids are the future, so why aren't we looking for them?
Well, I'm gonna say this one thing, and it might offend some people, but you know what? It's the truth, and you guys know it. If they're not blonde and blue eyes, they're not gonna hit the national news spot. If they're anything else, you're not gonna hit it unless your parents are out there stumping, banging on the doors, and making a hitting the courthouses and the police stations and demanding them. Nobody's going to say anything about your child being missing, and that's sad because every child's life matters. We got to get out there and find these kids. Say something. Maybe all these people that do broadcasts and stuff, maybe we should be able to get on there and be telling people, hey, this is what's going on. We got all these bloggers and people on TikTok and stuff. Let's bring this attention out there because people need to know. And a lot of times we don't know because we're so busy working. We got to be able to bring attention to this because something's going on under our nose.
Right. And I think some of the parents, if they have any information about it, like, I know it might be hard to share the information or what you might have expected to happen, but I think we as a community would do a lot better looking for these kids if we had the need to know information to locate them. I mean, because like the police what are they gonna do? That's not their child. They don't care because kids have been going missing for generations, and 9 times out of 10, that kid is never going to be found, and
Yeah.
it's so sad. And I'm just like, I think it's about time that people start going to other people like, hey, this is what she was wearing this day. This is her behavior patterns, and like just in case, if somebody was like grooming her, or if she like seems strange, like because you can tell with kids, like if they feel uncomfortable, so
Right.
and that goes into a whole different thing. Like, you got to watch your kids, like how they act. You got to watch these kids, and then you also need to teach them about situational awareness. It's all fun, like you can teach them how to have fun and everything, but they need to also be aware, or at least have a trusted adult with them watching them, because the numbers are getting too high. They're getting too high.
They are, and nobody's saying anything about it until it's too late. You know, technically they got like 48 hours to report a child missing. And like last year, we had a young man. I think he was like 6 or 7 years old, and he was special need, and he came up missing because they have that 48-hour before you can say, hey, they're missing alert. The child ended up getting into an apartment complex and wound up drowning. And it's like, had everybody just stopped and shut it down and did a Amber Alert right then and there, or the community would have been able to sound an alarm, something to where everybody kind of stop and be looking for those kids.
Right.
I know when I used to work at Walmart, they used to have Code Adam. I don't know. We got to come up with something in our community where we know if we got a child missing that we stop and be looking, because kids' lives matter. And I know I keep saying that, but kids' lives do matter because they are our future. And we got, as a community, we got to quit being so busy saying, well, that's not my problem. It is our problem because it could be your child.
Exactly. And I 100% agree with that. Like, there should not be a 24-hour limit before you can say that, hey, if somebody's missing. Because you realize that 24 hours, you can get a long way from where they're even searching,
Right.
because they're only going to look in that area. They don't look
Exactly.
really in the other states, because you can leave a state. I think, like, me personally, now don't quote me on this, don't bring me this up and like try to search for me while I'm driving, but I drive kind of fast, so I can get from one place to another, pretty quickly. So the fact that they're having 24 hours to before they even start considering to look for this kid, it's insane. It's insane.
It really is. And that needs to change. That's why I'm like, parents, if y'all listening out there, as an insurance agent, I'm gonna tell you, I used to tell my clients all the time, have updated pictures of your kids. We're always taking pictures and stuff like that. Have updated pictures of your kids, print it out, put the weight, the color of their hair, put information on there that the people would know. So when the police come and they ask you, you have all the updated information about them, because that's one of the reasons why some of the police officers saying they're having problems finding these kids, because there's not updated pictures, you know. And I'm like, how we like to take selfies and stuff like that, but you need to have an updated picture of your child. Best thing to do, take a picture, print it out, put it in your freezer, put it in a Ziploc bag, put it in the freezer. So if something happens to your child, you got that picture in your refrigerator, you pull it out and say, hey, this is the information. Update it every so often, update it every 6 months, because kids, they features change every 6 months. Their features do be changing. So update it. And if you do have one of your child, update it. Make sure you have a good picture of them and a good description of them, because that's going to help the police find your child even quicker. We can sit up here and blame the police and everything like that, but a lot of times they don't have enough information to be able to find them, especially if this child has been a runaway, because they're trying to think, especially if they're teenagers, the first thing they're going to think, oh, they run away, they trying to have fun with their friends, and we just going to wait. By that time, Kim is missing. Kim is in a ditch somewhere. So we got to put a sense of urgency on when our children come up missing. You got to start talking to your kids' parents. We got to start talking to our kids. So definitely get that updated picture.
Definitely. I agree with that.
Yeah. Calvin, what you got to say?
I think these kids need to be strapped. I think these kids need to walk around with mace. Self-defense.
I mean, at this point, the numbers are so high that I almost want to agree. Yeah, because it's getting too high. Like I said, the violence is rising in this country.
It's not getting too high. It's been high.
Teach them, like, come on, we got to do something. Something has got to change. If a kid got a taser, I feel like the chances of them getting kidnapped or missing or whatever has happened to these kids, it is not going to happen as much. If every kid had a taser, how many kids would go missing? If every kid had some type of self-defense when they leave the house.
I agree with the self-defense thing. Taser, I don't know, because some of the kids might be trying to tase their sister or brother, think it's fun to go tase them, but I definitely think that the teachers, maybe they need to have a program at the school that teaching the kids self-defense. I remember, and I know it was like 100 years ago when I was growing up, we had a bear that would come up there and kind of like teach us stuff, how to be safe. Don't talk to strangers and stuff like that. So we had programs in. Nowadays, I don't believe the kids growing up now don't have any type of programs in their school to talk about safety. What do you do when you meet a stranger, when a stranger trying to give you candy, or when a stranger trying to, hey, I got this music that I want you to listen to, because maybe we too focused on the phones. I don't know, but I think they need to bring programs back in school, in our churches, and parents need to start teaching their kids about safety protocols,
Right.
But that's going to be a subject that we're going to continue on talking about, because there's so many missing kids that the numbers are getting high, and there's no resolution to it. So, but we're going to continue on talking about we got to say something. Oh, look like we're having a little internet issue. This is the first Thursday we do not have a storm coming on. So I'm happy about that. But y'all ready to move on to the next subject?
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, yeah, what's the next subject?
All right. You sure, y'all? You ready?
Yeah.
So yeah. Okay. Well, y'all, we're gonna talk about.
We ready.
Make sure y'all ready. All right. Well, we're gonna talk about these 3 young Black men that are suing the town near Jackson, Mississippi, because there are sheriff deputies. The deputies barges into the home, and basically they kidnapped them, they beat them, they tased them, they sexually SH them. Sorry, I almost said it. They SH them, and one of the deputies, put his gun in one of the guy's mouth and pulled the trigger. So that person is really suffering and going through some things with. This is just sad. I hated to have to report that, but it's sad. It's getting out of hand. the sheriff, he's basically forced a couple of the officers to retire. I don't know why. They should have been fired and in jail. And a
Yeah.
couple of them just, I think he did wind up putting somebody on desk duty or what have you, but he didn't come out and say how many officers were involved, because it sounded like it was quite a bit of officers involved in that home invasion. I'm going to call it a home invasion. It's ridiculous. I really hope and pray that those guys that were injured, that they get treatment, and I hope they do press charges and get the money that they deserve, because that's ridiculous that you're sitting in your home not doing anything, and all of a sudden somebody busts into your home and hold you at gunpoint, beating you, tying you up like you're, I don't know, I guess they were going to rob them. I have no idea what was going on, but it's going to be more coming out about what happened, and I'm definitely going to speak on it. So don't even worry. We're going to talk about it. But right now, my prayers go out to that family, because those guys didn't deserve what happened to them. You get an SH, then you got a crazy cop deciding they're going to put a gun in your mouth and just pull it.
Yeah.
That's not a police officer. I don't even know what to call them. Thugs.
Yeah, no, for real. Like imagine if this was a like non-police officers, they would be all over that.
Exactly.
What they know, they would already been in jail. They would already been arrested. And it's crazy.
Yeah.
Like every time you put the word police officer, cop, then everybody's just sitting around waiting for something to happen. But if it was a regular person, stuff would have already been handled. Things would have already been in place, and that's crazy. It's like if you're a cop, you can get away with almost anything, really, at this point. But I definitely don't think this one is going to stand.
A superiority complex. Like you were saying, they think that they're the law and stuff like that they can get away with things. A lot of things. A lot of how to say self-defense or attack methods that some, I would say, Karens use is, my husband's an officer, he's going to arrest you. So basically, they're weaponized to basically terrorize. I want to say terrorize the people instead of actually help. Protect and serve has a different meaning now. It's protect who and serve when.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's sad, like, it's not even all the cops that are doing it. It's the ones who probably didn't have, got bullied or something, or probably racist. Then they decided, like, oh, okay, now that I have this power, I can step up. I can do what I want to do to these people, and that's not right. That's
exactly.
not right.
Because I'm gonna tell y'all, I know a lot of good cops out there. We have a few that's in our family, and I have a lot of friends that are police officers, and they're good people. But then, like you said, you got some that may have been bullied when they were in school, and that made them feel like, hey, I'm a big man or I'm a big girl. Because now, y'all, everybody will always think it's the men are doing. Now you got women that are taking aim at doing things like that, brutalizing people that they assume to be thieves or whatever, and mostly they just think that they're bad people, and they're not. And it's like, it's already one thing that you got to be, when you get pulled over, you're thinking, oh man, I'm driving because I'm black, or I'm driving because I'm brown. What are they gonna do? But it's like, some kind of way we got to do a better job in getting these bad police officers out of the force. They do not belong there. The sheriff department, we need to get them out. If you got a bad police officer, a bad joker up in there, you need to get him out, because first of all, the city is going to go dry if they continue on getting sued. My thing is, and a lot of people agree on the same thing, is when you start making them police officers have insurance, against liability insurance, just in case they do something like that, they gonna figure out, wait a minute, this is costing me money. Because if it's hitting the city, they don't care. They may get their job back. They may go to another. You fire them, chief. Guess what wind up happening? You're going to wind up transferring them to somebody else, and they're going to still continue on doing the same thing. It's about time that we come up with a system in place to where those bad cops and those cops that be doing things like that to people, that they get held accountable. They need an insurance, a liability insurance plan on them. So when, hey, instead of them suing the city, and sometimes the city might need to be sued, they need to sue that police officer. And maybe that'll cut down on them, because you know what? After you get sued so much, just like car insurance, after you have so many wrecks and stuff like that, your insurance is going to go, one, it's going to go high. And two, as soon as it's time for you to renew your insurance, they're going to drop you like you're a hot potato. Because why? You're a liability. So why don't y'all police chiefs and stuff and senators and mayors and stuff, think about that. Think about getting those police officers liability insurance and make them pay for it. Because the city paying for it. And me as a taxpayer, I'm tired of paying for stupid stuff. And that's stupid.
Yeah, 100%. Because now that when they do something wrong, we got to pay for it. That make sense.
It makes no sense. It makes no sense. And you know, it's like they go out there, like you said earlier, they can get out there and do whatever they want to do, and they think that, oh, I'm above the law, nobody's going to touch me because I'm a law officer. And then the ones that are trying to do the right thing, they can't say anything because it's a brother sister type of thing that you know they always say snitches get stitches, but I'm like, it comes a point in your time in the life that we got to start telling it. So I'm a snitch. I'm gonna tell it. If I see it, I'm gonna say something, because you know what, it could be my kid that you're doing something to. You know, there were already other officers that got pulled over, and the other officer didn't know that was a police officer. He was part of the brotherhood, and guess what? They found out real quick, hey, you pulled the wrong one over. But what about those that are not police officers? What are you doing to them? You know?
This actually reminds me of this comedian. He was making a joke basically about the police reform, but he was saying, why doesn't the city pay officers to snitch on other officers? And because, they're going to pay their money regardless, in incidents like this, like 400 million, 40 million, so why not just pay officers to snitch on each other, because no one's going to do it for free. No one's going to risk their safety from other officers. So if they just pay officers let's say a snitching fee, right? Say, hey, you tell them what's going on here, we can get you some money. You know how many millionaires would be cops?
Yeah.
It would be crazy. So yeah, that's how they fix it. You give the money to the officers. Because let's be honest. You gotta
add the per person. Add the per person.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, per person. Yeah. Be like, hey man, we're gonna write you $100,000 check every time you snitch. Roderick over there, he's been letting the crack dealers serve in this neighborhood. It's gonna be a complete reform overnight. I tell you, I promise that. Because if I became a police officer and they offered me that kind of money every time I snitched, I'd be the only cop in there.
Why do I believe it?
Because it's what I would do. That's why.
Be like, Robert took 2 extra donuts.
Yeah,
I know. They're gonna tell it. Maybe those are some things that some of these chiefs need to be thinking about. You need to put some incentive. If there's a bonus, have a hotline that they can call into, an ethic hotline for them to go and tell. Because I'm gonna tell you, them officers, there are some good ones that want to tell, but they don't want to wind up being known as a snitch. But they should be able to put like a QR code. They scan that QR code, call it, or their name and number. Nobody knows who they are. They can do it, And
I'm sure they could, yeah. But everyone's gonna know, like, hey, who snitched? The one guy who didn't participate in this event? Interesting.
Yeah,
Paul didn't want to beat this
guy. Be able to disappear.
Yeah.
I'm sure like we need to have officers for our officers, like
Yeah, like internal
especially
affairs.
yeah, like internal affairs, but like people who actually get the job done. You know what I'm saying?
Special units.
They like to call those FBI.
Well, it's like this. Who watching you? You know, everybody got to have some big brother or big sister to be watching over them, because at the end of the day, it got to be some kind of accountability somewhere. And hey, either they get some liability insurance and wind up having to pay these people out that they're doing harm to. I guarantee you that's going to stop too. And yeah, a bonus for snitches. I'm with that. I'm totally
Yeah.
with that.
And if they don't feel safe, they can move with that money.
Exactly. You don't have to be a police officer all your life. You can go do something else.
Exactly. Snitch on the whole entire department and quit the next day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Buddy's putting in his retirement. What? Yeah.
Interesting, right.
Emergency retirement.
I can't do this anymore. Somebody's snitching out here. I gotta go to Hawaii.
Oh, yeah. That's crazy. But y'all, we're finna move on to the next subject. This just came out today about the Supreme Court. Once again, they failed us again. Here we go. So this time they have decided to get rid of affirmative action. Now, what happens with this, with affirmative action, these colleges and universities, they can no longer consider race to admission. So what's going to happen in our state? I have no idea. What's going to happen in your state? I have no idea. A lot of the they're still talking about what are they going to do. Now I know Harvard gave a statement today stating that they're going to comply to what the Supreme Court says, but they're still going to be, making sure that they do right by the students. So I hope that happens. But I can tell you, Nancy Pelosi, she was not thrilled by it either. In her comments was as stated, she stated that it's sad today that Supreme Court narrowly access to higher education and the crucial ladder of opportunity that it provides. Its impact will be diminished, and the people who had fought hard to make sure that affirmative action was available to all, that it's not going to be there anymore. So it's going to be rough. And of course, our President Biden says that he strongly disagrees about what happened. I'm quite sure he's going to probably come up with something to put in law or whatever to try to override it. But that's federal, so we'll see. I think it's a state to state thing, and the state's going to have to get involved and do something for their people. But this is ridiculous. I almost feel like this is an attack on Black people in America. It's hard enough to where even if you do have a bachelor's degree, it's hard enough to where you have to fight with other people just to get a position that you're qualified to get. But because of the skin, which is crazy, the person is qualified, but because somebody don't like your skin color, you're not going to get in, and that's wrong. And people don't understand, well, we don't have any more racial stuff going on like we did back then. Yes, we do. We still have it. Those same people are still in place. They haven't died out. They're still there, and they train their people to do the same. They don't like Black people. Some companies don't want Black people in higher position. Not all of them, but it's a lot of them out there that do discriminate. Even if you know your stuff, you're not going to get that higher position. They'll go get their friend, kid, and put them in place. So that's what's going to wind up happening in these universities and colleges, that the legacy kids that haven't worked hard like your kids have, they're not going to be able to get in. They're going to have a hard.
It's funny that you mentioned that, right? Because I was talking with my father the other day. We were on a car ride, and he said, "Hey, do you see this?" And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" He's pointing out the window. It's a bunch of Mexicans, Hispanic people, I would say, just doing a regular job. I think they were doing construction or something like that. And I'm like, "What's wrong with that?" He said it's called a great reset, a great switch. And I was saying, no, the great replacement. And I was saying, what does he mean by that? He says, all the jobs black people used to do, the Hispanic people are doing now. And all the jobs that the white people, Caucasian people used to do, the black people are starting to do. And I'm like, okay, well, where does that leave the white people? And he says, well, now they're doing the jobs that that the Hispanic people would get or the black people would get. So now they're basically being kind of, I wouldn't say pushed out, but it's more of a diversity. It's a basically Hispanic people, African American, other ethnicities. They're coming in and they're doing the higher paying jobs that a lot of people would say those are white people jobs. Now you see a lot of people that are realtors are minorities. They're coming in. They're realizing there's a field in there for them. You got people in politics. You got people in offices in the corporate world, and they're starting to take over. They're noticing there's a giant diversity that's growing, and I'm sorry to say, but the Caucasian people are starting to become the minorities. But I can't say it's because it's like an intentional thing, but it's because, how do I say, the field has been leveled for everyone. So now there's a diversity. Now there's an even path to get to where you want. And that's why I believe that a lot of people in power are doing stuff like this or reducing education, because if you can't have an education, you can't get the higher jobs that they're having their legacy children go and get instead. So that's why I believe this was a move that was already planned. This wasn't based out of racial hate. I think it was based out of racial fear that they're being replaced and they're being no longer going to be the top dogs in the nation. Not saying there's a superiority, but they definitely believe it.
You know what? I have to agree.
That
You know,
makes a lot of sense.
it does. It really does. And I have to agree with you on that. A lot of times it's in some of these big companies, Fortune 500 companies, you won't see a black person that's the CEO. You basically going to see white men in those positions, you know. And I'm like, I feel like everybody has the opportunity to be the CEO, regardless of whether you black, you Asian, Hispanic, whatever, African. Everybody has an opportunity to be a CEO, you know. And I know a diverse of very intelligent people all over the place, you know. And I think that it's 2023. I feel like if you're educated and you know your stuff, even if you're not educated, because some people don't have to be educated, they can read the book and understand exactly what's going on and can talk about it. They can do the work, but you got some people that are scared. They're stuck in 1920 and they have that 1920 mentality and they don't want to see a brown person or anybody that looks different from them in charge. You know, it would be hard. And then on top of that, they don't want to accept to have a female in charge either. So it's like you don't know which one to fight. But at the end of the day, I wish that we all could just get along, like Rodney King said. I wish we all can get along. And this is America. We should be working together and not against each other and tearing each other down. You know, there's too many soldiers and too many people out there that's fighting for us to have the freedom that we have. And I feel like now it's just a joke because people don't take your freedom seriously, you know, and slowly but surely there are people in place that are taking things away from us. And at the end of the day, what's going to wind up happening? What is our future going to look like 15 years from now? We got to think about what's the future going to look like? Because right now, I feel like I wasn't born back then, but I feel like we're reverting back to the old ways, which is not good for all. And that's the problem that I have. You know, a lot of folks like to say, let's make America great. When was America great? What are you talking about? Because America was not always great. We had some good times, but the good times, I feel like, is when we all work together to make this place great. But right now, we're not great. We never were great, but we can be. We could be amazing. We could be awesome if we work together as a country and quit putting this barrier on black, white, green, yellow, and all that. We are American people and we need to be American strong.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I agree with that too, but there's so many things that they're pushing out in all these different parties, that try to divide us. So like, oh, if you think this way, you are labeled as this or you're labeled as that. And it honestly is like, it's kind of depressing when you look at it. Like, we're all sorts of divided through our skin color, through our gender, through what we believe in. And yeah, it's depressing, And like, how dare you say, I read this on I was looking through this when this came out. Somebody said, I can't remember his name, but he had made a post about the removal of the affirmative action, and he was basically saying that white liberals were saying that we were too stupid, black people were too stupid, that obviously we needed to have this to get into college. And I don't think that's what they meant. I really don't. Because some people see it for what it is, and now they're trying to back up this move to justify it. Like, oh, you don't need this to get into college. But if we didn't have it in the first place, we wouldn't have even been in college in the first place. Exactly. So make that make sense and explain that to me as to why you think that they think we're stupid, because you obviously think that we are, and you're trying to use reverse psychology, gaslight, as nowadays people like to say, gaslight us into thinking, well, maybe you know what, maybe we don't need this. And then when you realize, when it's completely gone and your child tries to get into college, they can't get it.
Mm-hmm. No matter if they made straight A's or not.
Exactly.
They're going to have a hard time getting in. I know right now, the Asian people are going to get hit hard with this, because there were some people that felt like they couldn't get into Harvard or they couldn't get into a university in California because the school had to have so many minorities, so many black people in those schools. So they got overlooked. So they felt like, well, hey, we want to overturn it, and they were able to do it. You got Clarence Thomas there, which I feel like he should have recused himself from even taking a vote in it. He sat up there and said he don't even know what diversity is. And I'm like, I know he's like, 80 years old? He's up there in age. What do you mean you don't know anything about diversity? You're in a interracial marriage. That means if y'all had kids, your kids, they know exactly what it is. You went to college, you went to law school, you know exactly what it is. You're just playing stupid so you can fit whatever puzzle and get people off of your back. That's the time that I feel like Clarence Thomas, if you hear me, which, if somebody know him, he needs to know, you need to start standing up. Stop taking the easy way out and saying what they want you to hear, and tell the truth. Because your legacy, what you're leaving behind, that you're anti-black, you're anti-women, you're just anti. If it's not paying your rent or paying your cabin fees or whatever, you don't care about anybody. All you care about is yourself. And that's what your legacy is going to be. You're selfless.
Yeah, I'd probably say he was probably let into that position just so he can be their token black to say, hey, it's not only us making these decisions, although it's probably someone telling him to make those decisions or say these things. I'm assuming there can be a time where he's looking at himself in the mirror and think, damn, I'm really going to regret this. My children, my family members don't look at me the same. They might have a big house, a big car, or a nice set of lawns. But when you think about it, what does it really cost? It's costing it's not only your soul, that you're giving up, but you're costing the generational suffering of many minorities. It's not even a black issue. It's also it's other minorities. He's basically
Exactly.
he's basically cutting the rope to everyone else to climb to the top.
Exactly. Because I'm gonna tell you like this here, being in a university or even with these jobs, because these jobs are going to say, well, we don't need affirmative action anymore. Everything's fine. They got rid of it in the colleges. So let's go ahead and get rid of it in these schools. We don't need it. And that's going to be a huge problem. We do need that. We still need that. We still have issues in America. We still have universities that do not want African American, Black people, brown people, Indians, Asians in their school. They don't. Even though you may have went to school and got straight A's and everything, if you're not a legacy, sometimes you may not be able to get in. But thank God they had their affirmative action that helped people, especially Black people, able to go to those schools. Now, all best or all legacy kids are going to be able to get in. They might be dumb as rocks, but they're going to be the ones who wind up getting in, while these other people are going to have a hard time getting in. So I will say to my Black babies, y'all go to a HBCU. That's where it's at. Go to a HBCU where you'll get great education, half the expense that you have to pay going to one of these Ivy League colleges. You're gonna get the best education. You're gonna know what your history is about. And that's one of the main things I think about going to a HBC, to find out who you are as a person. And I believe in HBC, and I'm like this here. If you got an HBC in your city, in your state, we need to start supporting the HBC so we can get our Black babies back into those schools. And you know what? Hey, Ivy League colleges, if y'all don't want us in there, we got our own. We can go there. Guess what? That means you can't go and pick us out and tell me, oh, you play sports, we're gonna take you over there. Because I'm gonna say like this: no, I don't want to go. That's just my thought.
You know, I agree with that. But here's my thing. When it comes to college, it's optional. But one thing that's not optional is the K through 12 programs, which I believe that there should be at least 2-3 skills taught per student. Like like trade schools, just have that put into schools, because they put us in there for what, 12? I want to say around 12 years of our life, and most people come out not knowing a thing. Dumb as rocks. Speaking of rocks, they teach us about igneous rocks. When was the last time you ever thought about that, except for when you were in school? They fill our heads with a bunch of nonsense. See, well, this is why I believe that I wouldn't say private schools, because private schools actually do teach their children something, but they have to pay for it. I think public schools should teach kids how to survive outside the world, how to pay your taxes, how to work with money, how to learn a skill or trade, certain things like that. I think that's the reason why we're in the state of where we are now. Why the forest, it's on fire, pollution's out of control, people are getting dumber. It's just it's kind of a dystopian out here. But I think it all starts with our education. Can we use our brain power to fix our situations? If we're being taught about Pythagorean theorem, it's all good if you're going into a field that requires it. But most people, I would say at least 85% of people, if not more, are not using that. You got classes that teach you how to sew, how to cook, and all that. That's stuff that's needed. But then you got classes that teach you how to like math class, right? I think after I know multiplication, addition, all the stuff, it's fine, right? But once you start throwing number or like letters in there, I think that's when it starts getting a little crazy. When am I ever going to go outside in the real world and be like, oh man, I wonder what the height of this tree is? I can calculate it off the shadow. It just doesn't happen. So if we could teach like shop classes, like I don't know, how to weld, how to sew, how to build things, how to think. Critical thinking is important as well. How to address situations, how to talk. Because there are a lot of people who don't know how to talk that come across as like they're being argumentative when they're really trying to convey themselves in a different manner. A lot of people just don't know how to use certain words. In English class, they don't teach us about using certain words in the dictionary, they'll have us read a book like Two Mice and a Men or Two Men and a Mice or whatever it is. Yeah, we get it. One guy's retarded and the other guy is trying to take care of him. That's cool. But when are we going to need to know this? Who cares what this author wrote 50 years ago? I need to know what I'm about to do 50 years in the future. That's what I'm talking about. The schools need to be reformed. Screw this whole college thing, because it's obviously a setup. But you know what? College is needed for certain jobs. I will say that. But like I said, most people aren't going to college. A lot of people are dropping out of college. Women and men on both sides and all races, they're starting to opt out of college because they're realizing they can't afford it and they're not going to do anything with it. So teach people how to do stuff outside of school, then they're set. Wouldn't be a homeless issue.
As my father used to say, get a trade. Go to trade school. Trade will help you.
Yeah.
Learn a trade.
See, now y'all got me all riled up. Now y'all got me acting up.
Yeah, definitely. Go to trade school. Go online. Go online. There are so many certs that people do not know about. There's so many certs that you can
Google
just
teaches you how to get skills. Google has a class right now. If you open up your Google browser right now, you click this little 3-dot icon they have over there. You scroll down to, let me see where it is. Where is it? I think it's mine. I saw it here. It's Classroom. Classroom. Go into Classroom. They'll teach you how to do advertisement. They'll teach you how to do business management. They'll teach you how to do a lot of things.
Yeah.
It's hidden. It's hidden knowledge, and it's hidden for a reason. They want a lower class. Rich people can't be rich without a lower class. They have to dumb us down.
Exactly.
I don't think that's beneficial to anyone but the higher class.
It's not. All this works in their favor. All of this works in their favor. If people stop, if people stop going to college and start learning these trades, start learning these certs and how the world runs, rather than these big jobs, that you probably don't even want to do, then there would barely be any student loan debt. Barely. Then you can make your living.
But you know what? Here's the thing. What they fail to realize is that's how you make your money. That's how they make their money.
That is how they make their money.
That's all it is. Taking out the competition.
Exactly. So basically, you already know that half of these people that are scraping at the barrel trying to pay their student loans, if they're not going to school, where are you going to get the extra money from? Because you already know a lot of these multi-rich people, their kids, some of them not going to school. They're going straight into working into these whatever company that their mama daddy have. They're doing that because they're a legacy. So if they do, that's because that mom wants the daughter to go find her husband. That's the only reason why she going to school. A lot of them not going to school to get an education to better themselves. A lot of them going to go find their partner, especially the females. They're going to go find their partner. They're not going to get an education. So that's stopping the ones that want that spot, that want to learn, that want to get a good education. That's stopping them. So guess what? Y'all open up a can of worms that guess what? You ain't going to be able to close because Clarence Thomas, you decided, hey, what is diversity?
Yeah.
Well, guess what? We got HBCY, we got the HBCU, and I'm gonna support them. Whatever schools we have around here that's HBC, I'm gonna support that school because you know what? I'd rather give my money to them than be giving it to the university that don't want us there anyway. Now I'm gonna say this. It's just my opinion. There are some universities that do want that. They do want to have a diverse university. They do. But then you have those ones that's been here 100 plus years. They want the good old boy system. That's how they want it. They want people that look like them. They don't want other people in there. They don't want to teach them. So guess what? We got to start investing in our own and teaching our own. We need to start going to trade school so we'll know. So the next time that the country shut down, guess who will be running the country? We the people. because everybody else that had those cushion jobs, guess what they were doing? They were at home working. Guess who carried this country for 2 years on our backs? The essential workers. So don't forget about us. We're the ones that didn't go to college, don't have a bachelor's degree, may have an associate degree, but guess what? We carried this country.
Yeah.
So y'all should be investing in us. Hey, Miss Carrie, what you got to say?
Hi, Stephanie. I don't appreciate how you didn't send me a link.
Okay, but you got your link. You're on now.
I didn't go to college. Well, I went to college for like 3 weeks. Then I left and went to trade school. So it's faster.
Yeah, best decision.
It's like real fast. It don't take 4 years. It takes like 12, 13 months. And less money.
Yep. So overall better.
See, now that's a smart girl right there. She's not letting these people out here fool her and take her money like that. She's learning something for herself. Yeah. See, if anything in college was really useful, why would they keep updating the textbooks and saying that the one you have now is useless?
No, you gotta get your textbook online now off Amazon.
Oh, so Amazon joining the team too, huh? Yeah. See, now, Camille, the one thing I was telling you about earlier, it's called Google Skill Shop. It will teach you all this stuff on there. It's all free too, and you get a certification with it. So you can put that on a resume. You could take it to different jobs and say, yeah, I'm certified in this. You don't need to go to certain schools just to learn this when it's free. Everything on the internet, it usually can be accessed. I mean, sometimes you got to pay a little money, but yeah, it's all on the internet.
Dude, I bet it'd be cheaper than going to college.
Yeah, it is. Google do have that to where you can go. They can teach you certain stuff. They can even they're teaching kids how to code, do coding. So I'm like
they got
this
apps.
here.
Yeah, they got apps on the App Store. I learned C+ like 2 years ago.
Yeah. My friend Miller, he's learning coding right now. He's getting out the military, and before he's doing that, he's learning coding through one of those websites and stuff. And shoot, he's learning it. And like, honestly, he already has he already went to college, got his degree and everything like that. But the fact that he's going to a trade school and learning something very essential, so essential that he can't be replaced. And that's the thing. We need to find a way, find the jobs that are irreplaceable. You cannot replace me, no matter what happens in this country. Just like my Miss Stephanie was saying, the essential workers,
That's right.
Essential for a reason, yeah.
Essential for a reason.
Amazon. They said I was an essential worker, but I didn't feel that essential.
You are an essential worker because you know what? Can't know anybody go in there and go get them packages and go throw them packages on those carts and go load them up for these Amazon drivers to make prime time.
Yeah,
so
they can get anybody to do that. They can get an autistic kid in 2nd grade to go do that.
I don't know. I've seen some of them. No, I don't think so. But you were an essential worker because the ones that had those bachelor's degrees that keyed in certain things, they couldn't go in there to do it. Like I said, essential workers were the ones who carried this country on their back. When the pipes bust out here in Texas, when we had that ice storm out here and nobody could move around, guess who you needed after it started thawing out? You needed those plumbers. You didn't need a computer tech to come out there and fix your plumbing. You needed a plumber. So it's important for you to get those trades so you can go ahead on. You can open up your own business. See, that's the one thing people don't teach you. If you get a trade, guess what? Learn everything that you need to learn off of it. Learn it. Go do intern at a company, and then open up your own business. Be an entrepreneur. You can do that. You don't have to go and work for somebody. You can go and develop your own thing. That's what I want to do. Be an entrepreneur.
Yeah, I like that. I like that.
I think I just did somebody's slogan.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know, but nothing's copyrighted on here. It's a podcast.
Hey, you know what? That's why it's called Let's Talk About Stuff, because we're gonna talk about all kind of stuff. So, oh my goodness, we have been on here for 59 minutes. Oh my goodness, we almost hit a whole hour.
We
Man,
hit an hour just now.
we hit an hour, so we're gonna get ready to wrap this up. Do y'all have any closing things? What y'all want to talk about? How you feel about what happened with the 30 missing kids? Anybody got anything to say on that? Closing remark?
Yeah. You know what? The missing kids, they need to learn, and I don't know, I would say daycare, how to recognize threats. You know, I would say the older kids that can be more trusted or, you know, more sensible, yeah, they can carry, I don't know, like little tiny things of like pepper spray, you know, little whistle or something, you know. And about the 3 men that were attacked, was it 2 or 3? Yeah,
Three.
they were attacked and all that. You know, of course, they're going to be brought to justice. You know, as long as everybody keeps applying pressure to this, the situation will get resolved. And the whole school system, it's all a thing. They don't want to be replaced. They feel like their position is being threatened. They don't want us being their neighbors. Yeah, you know, get you a trade, learn something. That's all I gotta say.
Well, thank you there, Calvin.
The one and only Calvin, yes.
The one and only Calvin. Well, come on, Carrie Williams, what you got to say?
I don't have anything to say.
Okay.
Yeah,
All
it's
right.
all good. Everything that needed to be said was said just now.
Mm-hmm.
About
Camilla,
the one and only Calvin.
Yes.
the one and only Calvin got always something to say. Well, Miss Camilla, what you got to say on this? Closing remark.
All right. For the 30 missing kids, I really do hope they find them. I hope the number don't raise any more than it already has. You know, raise situational awareness, teach kids situational awareness. I agree with Calvin over here with yes, the one and only Calvin, you know, having kids with whistles and or pepper spray. But also I think we need to start having trackers on them. We need to start pushing that on, like our kids, you know, we need to know where you are. But definitely with the situational awareness, because I feel like, and with most kidnappings, people aren't aware of their surroundings. They're not aware who's following them. Like, hey, that car's been following me for the past 3 blocks. For those that situation with the cops and the black men, I definitely hope they get what they deserve. I hope they get what they deserve. You know, I mean, like, you just walked up in their house, sexually assaulted them, and then now you don't get arrested. That's fishy to me. I hope they do a thorough investigation, because I'm pretty sure more people are involved than what's being told to us, because somebody had to give the go ahead.
They didn't have a warrant, did they?
No.
No, they had no warrant. All those police officers would be arrested. Not
Exactly. That's what I'm
death
saying.
duty. That was a crime. That was actually a felony.
That's felony, because actually, if you want to look at it that way, you violated the Constitution when you walked up in their house with no warrant.
Exactly.
Let's be real. If you want to talk about that, so amendments were broken. You know, and then with the school, definitely learn, if they keep taking away some stuff, like if they keep taking away our rights and our education, the rights over our bodies, you know, anything, if they keep taking away what makes us Americans and our freedom, then we need to come back at them with, like, hey, look, well, you can take away this, but I got this. You know, learn the essential tasks, learn how to survive on your own, and don't depend on them. Don't depend on them, because, you know, when they give stuff out, it's like they can take it back. Our freedom is not free. It's something that they allowed us to have, and that I don't really think that that's freedom. That's a privilege. is what they're trying to say, and I don't agree with that.
Mhm.
So that's all I can say on that. I said what I said.
Well, you know what? All I can do is say I agree. I totally agree. Um, with that situation with the 30 kids, I'm going to make sure I say something about it. Not only with the 30 kids over in Ohio, some of them have came back home. They found some of them, but I'm definitely going to make sure that I keep y'all updated on what's going on about these missing kids coming up missing. It's been so much stuff going on till I can barely touch the scratch of it. This news is hot this week, you know, from kids being missing to the lady who 14-year-old son had protected her, and he killed somebody he took somebody, unlived them because they attacked his mom. Sorry, YouTube, don't get me. But you know, he defended his mom, and the charges they got charged, and then the prosecutor went up and let it go. So that needed to happen, you know, because I know I know 100% that if somebody was up in my face threatening to does hit me, and one of my kids over there, I know without a doubt, even if I tell them no, get back, don't do it, they're gonna protect me. They're gonna protect me. I know this, you know, but once again, it's so much stuff that's going on in this news, you know, and then with the 3 guys that got invaded by those deputies and stuff like that. I hope justice is served. And I think that those of y'all that live in Mississippi, you guys need to be putting pressure on these people. Don't stop. Whatever you're doing, keep doing it. Get out there. Don't protest. Go vote. Get in their face. Demand your respect. Demand changes, because the only way that things going to change in your state, in your city, unless you go out there, go vote in these local elections because it counts. Go vote in the general election. Go vote. Voting is power. You got the power. You had too many people that fought, died for you to be able to have the right to go vote. You need to go vote. If you're not registered to go vote, get registered to go vote. We need to get our votes in. We need to get rid of these people that are making bad decisions that are hurting our people. That's my stand on that. I said what I said. And in a minute, y'all gonna hear me say some other things about these parties. But right now, I'm gonna keep it like it is right now. I'm gonna keep it neutral for now. But at the end of the day, if you don't vote, you can't expect change. If you stop voting, this is why the other side is doing what they're doing, because there's nobody in there to stop them. The only way you stop a bully, unless you go face up with them and handle your business with them. And the right way to do it is you got to go vote. You got to go vote. You got to go and say, hey, I want to be a part of this. I want to make sure I make the difference. Because if you don't say anything and you sit back, well, my vote don't count. That's what happened. That's what has happened. You might not like whoever is in whatever party it is that you're in. You might not like that person, but if that person strongly has your value in place, you need to take your butt down there and go vote. That is why the Jim Crow is going on in your city, in your state. That's why people are outside trying to fight to make sure that don't happen. So do them a favor, get your butt up, go register to vote. Go out there and go vote. Go volunteer. Go block walk. I know it's hot as hell out there because it's hot. We in hell out here in Texas. But get out there and go vote. Get out there and get these people registered to vote. Go let them know who's running for what. That's important. That's how change happens. That's how this affirmative action that just happened today. If you get out there and vote, we can stop this. Put pressure on the Supreme Court justices. Put pressure on these judges. They're people too. They got kids. Put pressure out there on them. Stop the madness. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter what color you are. It doesn't matter whose side you're on. At the end of the day, we're Americans, and we need to start taking back our country and start doing what's right for our people, because my children are going to be the ones that's going to be left behind to clean up all this stupid mess that we have messed up. We're a hot mess right now, and we need to start taking a stand and getting our country back together. We, white people, black people, Mexicans, Asians, Anybody else out there? We need to be working together. Our Indian brothers and sisters, we all need to be banding together and start doing what's right for our country. Because the people that we have in DC, they don't love you. They don't think about you. All they're doing is fattening up their pockets. And the ones that are fighting hard to try to help us, they're being shut down. We need to stand up for our people and do the right thing. Stop the fighting. Stop the racial stuff, because that is over. That's dead. Our kids are blending together, and you need to take a stand for our children and for our future, for their future, because their future matters. That's all I got to say.
It's better than black and white.
I'm
What's
going to
that?
drop the mic on that one. But y'all, thank y'all for coming on to Let's Talk About It, Steph. Of course, we're going to have lots of hot topics going on. We'll be talking about a lot of things probably this weekend. But of course, you know, it's our Thursday. We're going to be on here Thursday at 6:30. And we'll see you next time. Thank y'all for coming. Come on back. And if you like this, if you like what you heard tonight, please like and share. We love that. That helps us out. We want to get this out here. So please like and share. And we'll see you on next time. 1, 2, 3. We're going to be out of here. So y'all count 3 right here. 1, 2, 3. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.